Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we're taking a deeper dive into our thoughts about the season 7, episode 12 episode of Love Island USA.
Listen here, we only go talk about that fire pit scene right there. Mm-hmm. And I need y'all to watch this before y'all watch tonight's new episode. We're not going to be long at all. Overall, I feel like this season is better than last season, and we're only on episode 12. Ooh, like this cast, because I think a lot of people just looking at certain moments and things like that. Trust me, y'all don't remember last season in its full totality. Y'all don't remember during this point of last season, Serena was playing Cordell. Oh no, she was never playing Cordell. She's a slow burner. Yeah, I hear you, right? Like all those things, right? Listen here, Cordell probably still didn't have his first kiss yet on the island. Right now, this season and this cast collectively is better than last season. I feel like Love Island USA is already a success for this season. How do you feel, Blair?
Yeah, it's been total fire this episode. This fire pit from hell was everything, and I just love that America, those of us who gathered together to make this thing happen, proud of y'all.
Oh yeah. This is where you can really feel like your vote really counted.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Blair, just give us a quick recap of who are the new couples.
All right, so the new couples, we have Jaylen and Alandria, Pepe and Hannah, Iris and Jeremiah.
Ooh, we gonna talk about Iris and Jeremiah last, of course. Let's talk about Alandria and Jaylen.
Yeah.
I feel like we want great things for Alandria, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm here to tell y'all again, Jaylen is not that vehicle. I know Taylor's not that vehicle either, but I really think she got the ick, in my opinion, when he asked for a kiss. She's been kissed by 1,300 guys in one challenge, and then for him to kind of come in after to be like, well, I ain't get a chance to kiss you. Of course, on the surface, it may seem like, it's kind of cute. It wasn't like she was making out. It was just a peck. But I really do think that she may be feeling Taylor more than what we want her to feel, because she's already giving Taylor credit for things he's not even doing. You know what I mean? Little such things that she's saying, Jaylen, he really compliments me about my body and things like that. He give me compliments, tell me how much he likes me. But you know what, Taylor? Maybe you getting to know my mind. And I don't even think Taylor's doing that. Taylor already let the guys know he's having a hard time finding basically Alandria attractive. So I don't think what we want for Alandria is going to come through the vehicle of Jaylen. But guess what? I think Jaylen's a better choice than Taylor.
Yeah, I think that Jaylen is the vehicle to get Alandria basically where we want her to be as far as in a happy couple. I think that Jaylen came in immediately. Alandria, is who he wanted. He made it known that she was who he wanted. He made it known he was attracted to her and that he wanted to continue to explore things with her. Yeah. And she's willing to explore as well. I think that it's only been a few days that he's been there, so they don't quite have that comfortability. But I think that I'm looking forward to seeing it grow. I think that with Taylor, unfortunately, Taylor just doesn't do enough. He is always having to be prompted by the guys. He's having to be prompted by Alandria. Yeah. And I feel like the small things that he does, like drawing in the sand and all this different type of stuff, is very kiddish to me.
Yeah, that is.
And I think that Alandria wants somebody. She wants a man to actually make it be known, impress her enough to show that he really wants her. And I also feel like with Taylor, I've seen people say, oh, well, he's saying physical attraction, but maybe he's saying he can't really get the affection started. I don't know, but I'm going to go by what the man says.
Yeah.
And according to what he said that he's having a hard time with getting that physical attraction. And I feel like it shows when they kiss. I don't feel the spark. I don't feel the chemistry. I also don't have to feel it because I'm not participating.
That is true.
But it doesn't read on screen to me. It reads like Taylor's saying, okay, she keeps telling me she wants his physicality, so let me go ahead and do it. Yeah. And it's just not hitting. And I think that Alandria is feeling a little bit of loyalty to Taylor by the fact that she's been getting to know him. Yeah. But as time goes on and Jaylen actually applies the pressure, Taylor's going to get lost in the wind.
Yeah. And guess what? To Blair's point, as she said in previous reviews, he kissed Alandria and then went and chest bumped the guys.
Yeah.
That's very weird behavior and things of that nature. He didn't hug her. He didn't hold her. He celebrated with the guys as if it was the first time he got a kiss from a girl.
And Alandria is peeping that, okay, Taylor's being handsy. Taylor's doing dates. Taylor's applying the pressure because Jaylen's here. Yeah. And I think that can be a turnoff as well.
Yeah. Listen here. Nick and Alandria, come on. Why are y'all making us wait this long? Okay. Now listen here. We gave y'all 5 minutes and 30 seconds of Alandria and Jaylen, and I felt like that was fair.
Okay.
Now let's get to the mess. Who is the next couple?
Pepe and Hannah.
Hannah, stop all this crying. because you are the reason why this happened. We went with what like you told us through your actions. This is what you wanted. Mm-hmm. We did not vote in malice towards Hannah. We did not say, let's break up Charlie and Hannah. We was like, oh, just this one interaction, it seems like she's feeling Pepe Le Pew more than she's feeling Charlie. So we like Hannah. We gonna give Hannah what she told us that she want. So we put you together with Pepe. And now this whole idea of basically you crying as if he's about to be murdered or something like that. Like he's just going home. But I have a tinfoil hat theory. You ready for my tinfoil hat theory?
Let's hear it.
Throughout the voting, Amaya was the last vote of who get to stay, who get to go, basically who get to leave, right? And if you remember during that episode, Charlie, he let his ego get the best of him. And he said, I know we're friends, Amaya, but how about we explore it? You know what I mean? Trying to basically one up Hannah, who was in soul ties, kissing Pepe, right? And of course, Amaya was crying, telling me, I can't do that to my best friend. That's my sister and things like that. And I like you, but I can't do that. Amaya is she's very emotionally high-strung, in my opinion.
Expressive.
And right now, she's actually the Liv of the villa, because she's a girl's girl, if you want to leave it at that, right?
I don't see it.
You don't see it? Mm-mm. Well, that's how I see it, right? Mm-hmm. So when it came down to the voting, and that's when it came out that before the voting process, before the fire pit, we see Hannah and Charlie, they actually reconcile. And Hannah's like, I was tripping. What I had with Pepe was just all physical, but I really want to be with you. Literally 5 minutes later, Charlie's up for elimination. Hannah's over there crying. And then once Amaya said Charlie's name, Hannah started wailing, right? Here's what I think it is. Tinfoil hat theory, guys. It's an inside job. What do you mean, Chris? I think, right, Hannah got the guy that she wanted, that being Pepe. And if she is best friends with Amaya, mind you, after Charlie talked to Amaya went straight to Hannah and let her know, because at the end of the day, Amaya is a girl's girl. So if she's a girl's girl, I find it very strange that my best friend will vote off the guy that I'm truly interested in unless she truly knows I'm not interested in that guy. So I think all those tears and things that Hannah was doing was performative, and really, guess what? I let someone else get rid of Charlie instead of me really saying I want Pepe. That's my tinfoil hat theory with that. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that I think that she was enjoying Pepe. Pepe was the fun time. Mm-hmm. It was a guy that she could explore with, a guy that she could make out with. Yeah. And because we saw you guys have that chemistry, that's why I voted for y'all to be together. If you would have just sat and talked to the man like Sierra, then I feel like it would have been anyone up for grabs. But overwhelmingly, it seemed like you wanted to explore Pepe. So explore the man. But seeing how they were this episode, I do think that Hannah was really interested in Charlie and continuing their relationship and kind of cooling things off with Pepe. And I believe what she said to be true. And I think that when it came to the fire pit and her getting emotional, I believe her, but I just also found it interesting that Charlie was trying to make his last ditch campaign to say that me and Hannah are actually on good terms. Yeah. And I'm wondering why Hannah didn't speak up in that moment to co-sign, to let them know, I know you guys have to vote, but we really are on good terms and we really do want to see this thing through. Yeah. If y'all can respect that. And Charlie was out there by himself. Yeah. But I do find it interesting how Amaya will be like, I'm not going to get with your man, but I'm going to vote him off. And I think one of the reasons could be, number one, I don't think she was ever going to try to get another girl out.
Of course not.
But I have seen some theories around saying that maybe production, for the sake of time, didn't want to have a three-way tie. So they told her, hey, you got to be the tiebreaker, Charlie or Huda. And she voted Charlie. So that's kind of more of my wavelength of thinking, because the hurt and the breaking down that Hannah is doing, I absolutely believe it. I've absolutely been there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when it comes to it, she just risked something that she actually didn't want to end up risking. But hey, we thought that's what you wanted, girl.
Your thinking is the mature way of thinking. It don't really have a lot of tinfoil feeling into it. Because here's my theory. Because we saw the preview. the whole laying next to the pitcher, stroking the pitcher and things like that. And of course, it is strange arranged, to your point, Blair, of, hey, while Charlie was over there trying to plead his case, Hannah did not like speak up and say, like, you know what, I really like Charlie, I really want to see it through. Hell, while Charlie was trying to plead his case, he was like, hey guys, I just want to let y'all know. Amaya was like, shut up, please. No, please shut up. Go. And things like that. So I find it very strange that, guess what? Hannah did not speak up, to your point, and Amaya voted him off. And I'm like, it's an inside job. She's trying to fool us. She's trying to fool us. Here's the thing about it. The only way that I will believe that it's not an inside job, I need to see Hannah beef with Amaya. Because that's the only logical path to go. You've literally voted the person that I'm interested out the villa. So if I do not see Hannah and Amaya go at it, I'm going to believe that it's an inside job and that really Hannah really wasn't feeling Charlie more than Pepe. So guess what? That's what I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the Hannah versus Amaya. Point number 2, right? Let's get to this whole Ace thing, right? Because I'm hearing theories and I'm hearing people's recaps and review, and they are believing, even people in our comments are believing, that Ace influenced the American vote. No, he did not, right? Ace, as much as y'all do not want to admit it, Ace really is the representative of us in the villa.
Yeah, he's the viewer in the villa.
Yes. So everything that Ace is saying about their relationship, America already said it first. You get what I'm saying? Here's the thing about it. Ace and his minions is not the reason why America broke up Jeremiah and Huda. You know who's the reason why Huda and America broke up Huda and Jeremiah? Huda's the reason why America broke them up. Not even Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah played a part, but the whole time, Huda really had this game locked from jump. Huda was beautiful enough, right? She was what is that word that I can't say? She's racially
ambiguous.
Yeah, she's that. So a lot of people was behind her. She had stands behind her, right? But what happened throughout the season, all the way up to episode 12, was there early on in the season, we saw Huda's character, right? We saw the whole y'all need some real men. Y'all don't remember that? Right?
All these B words and talking about sisterhood afterwards.
Yes. This whole thing of like Alandria was mean to me, you know what I mean? So we seen Huda's character. On top of that, we see their relationship on screen. This is where I give a little flack to Jeremiah. At the end of the day, when it came down to whatever y'all was talking about, it seems like Jeremiah wants to be free. Every time you're talking, you seem possessive, right? You seem obsessive basically with the whole relationship. You seem a little off hinge. So it's kind of hard to get behind you, Huda. Also, we also need to understand that I don't think it's as simple as Ace did this because he wants to be with Huda. I think we have to take into account we have to take in the account the Islanders' experience on the villa. Y'all love Bella, so let's use Bella words, right? One thing that Bella said in the podcast that we did a deep dive on is that she said, hey, when we all got there, we kind of felt like we couldn't approach Jeremiah. Like there was kind of like, hey, do not touch when it comes to Jeremiah. Mind you, she claimed Huda, Jeremiah day one and kind of put them in basically mom and dad role by episode 3. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So by Huda doing that, she limited the girl's experience to actually explore Jeremiah. So I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be free. And now I have this girl that I'm fearful of actually going and being free on and in the villa. Guess what? The guys already expressed that with Jeremiah too about, hey, we feel like we cannot approach Huda. So you are kind of limiting our experience. So I think there is something to, hey, this has nothing to do with, hey, Ace is jealous and we are jealous of real love and things like that. They don't believe that it's real love because they feel like there's a game being played. How do y'all get so locked in on day one, but still, till this day, before y'all got broke up, y'all not closed off? Right? Whole time when new people come in, you're telling them, oh yeah, me and Jeremiah, we're the best couple in the villa. Basically, don't touch, even though we're not closed off. So y'all are doing everything to basically hamper everybody else's experience while still not putting some legitimate status on your relationship. What is your thoughts so far?
Yeah. Ace just sees what we all see.
Yeah.
Ace is just pointing out the things that I feel like a lot of people see. I think the Huda stands, or the people who are really for Huda, take it however y'all want to. I really don't care. I think that y'all have the same mindset of Huda, and that's scary. And I think it's scary because I feel like what we enjoy, at least for myself, what I enjoy about Love Island and seeing the couples is people's natural progression of their relationships. And when you have somebody locked in on day one and it doesn't really feel genuine because Jeremiah let the cat out the bag. Hey, we're going to see if we can win this thing. And from there, see what really comes of our relationship. Clearly, it's gameplay.
Yeah.
You want to get with somebody in order to ride it out to the end and say, we've been together the longest, so we should be the winners. But that's not what we're all thinking. That's not what we're all thinking. Or a lot of us are thinking. Some of y'all are thinking that. But I think that when it comes to them and the fact that it feels like they're forcing themselves to stay in this, because Jeremiah can't have a conversation without rolling his eyes and making sound effects with Huda. And Huda's getting frustrated because she feels like she's not being heard. He's not courting her. But why would I court you when you got your coochie in my face every single time we have an argument? So I think that with them, it's just apparent that they have cracks in their relationship, and they're also being fake when the guys and the girls are trying to have real conversations about where everybody is at. And Jeremiah can't even admit to the fact that, hey, she do be tripping a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just saying that we would have built up the trust in order to have trust in the future and all this type of stuff. And everyone knows it's BS because they want to appear like they got it all together. Their mom and dad, they're perfect. But we can see that you're not. We're not blind. We can see what's going on. And the thing is, you guys don't have to be perfect. Things don't have to, be cookie cutter in order for you guys to win. And I feel like they're trying to make it appear this way. That way they have the votes of the viewers. And I'm glad that for a majority of us who voted, this is a heads up to them that, hey, y'all don't have it in the bag like y'all think y'all do. So go back to the drawing board, maybe be more honest about your relationship, or maybe actually explore other people to see if you guys are even really the best match for each other. So
Blair, you hit the nail on the head. The whole point is the viewers do not want to feel like we are being played.
Right.
And that's what their relationship is. I have no problem. Here's the thing. I have no problem with Huda landing on Jeremiah and actually liking him and being with him, right? But it just wasn't a natural progression, right? You don't lock in with someone on day one. Remember, she said, I love you day one, right? And you don't do all that and then hamper other people's choice to explore. Because remember, Bella said it. Y'all love Bella, remember? She said, we felt like we couldn't touch Jeremiah. How is that basically the Love Island experience? It's one thing if everybody had a chance to explore, we talked to everybody, and then we realized that we really like each other. And exploring just mean a conversation. We did not see Jeremiah talk to another girl till literally episode 10. And that's when he talked to Alandria. So that's why I'm like, it just seems like a forced relationship. Y'all go keep putting y'all relationship in our face to basically campaign for votes more than actually show us the real progression of your relationship. And we won't be played. What we saw last night was actually America saying, guess what? Y'all are not our winners. And basically, Huda, you won't win at all. Jeremiah, we will give you a chance to basically be with somebody else, but Huda being basically up for elimination as we sacrificed Iris. I'm sorry, Iris.
Exactly. Had to take one for the team. Maybe next time you can get with somebody that you actually like. We'll see. We might need to use you
until we need you again. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? You're a bombshell, so we use you to basically blow up a situation. You know? Sorry, Irish. Guess what? She gonna be on your back. But no, Ace did not influence America to vote for Huda. America was already feeling this way. Now that leads me to, now we get to see the Ace versus Jeremiah thing. Now Jeremiah, everybody looking at the spotlight is on Ace because Ace and Nick, they all voted for Huda to go, and now their true intentions is out, and now like Huda's going to see how they feel. Here's the thing about it. The fact that Ace is willing to basically go and gave his speech about how bullish it is, it came off to me as like, oh, Ace doesn't really, maybe he wanted a chance to explore Huda, maybe as, you know, when you first come to Love Island. In the beginning, but he don't want Huda.
Yeah.
He don't want Huda because he feels like she's fake. She feel like they're fake together. Now the spotlight is actually on Jeremiah to actually represent the relationship he had with Huda. How real was it? Because now the guy's saying it was bullish. So now Jeremiah got to grow a backbone now and actually speak up for the relationship that America broke him out of. You get what I'm saying? And I think this is actually climax right here. There's so many storylines. I think we are going to see Ace versus Jeremiah, and basically how does Jeremiah represent the relationship that he was once in.
Yeah, and I also feel like Nick did his big one as well. And for Nick and Jeremiah to be as close as they were, for Huda to trust Nick to tell that she was a mommy, a mamacita.
A mamacita.
I was just kind of like, what happened to Uncle Nick? You know, he said, go home with your baby.
Yeah,
that's
much.
what he said. That's what you need to be. No, but I think that with Nick, I felt like he was honest, and because the thing is, Nick had been asking these questions to Jeremiah the whole time. Like, she's kind of like doing a lot and tripping. Like, how do you feel about that? What are your actual thoughts? And I feel like nobody can get a real thought from Jeremiah. It felt like Jeremiah had Huda in the back of his head saying, don't, misrepresent our relationship and don't tell people what we're going through and all this type of stuff, to where he couldn't really express what he was going through. And I'm not going to put it all on her, because he's a grown person in his own right to be able to speak freely on what he's actually going through. And I also feel like with Nick, when it comes to the situation, there's also the dynamic of taking into account that she has a child and the big responsibility that is, and Jeremiah just doesn't seem ready for that responsibility. And I think that's another thing that they know.
That's a good point.
That some of the people know. It's just like, you're enjoying her for the moment, but we can tell every time, the people who know Jeremiah and knows that Huda's a mom has this conversation, it's always like he's just not into it. He's always, we'll see. I got to meet the kid. I don't really know. But Huda's over here talking about, we about to move in together.
Matter of fact,
everything just is not lining up, and the people are not feeling it.
Tinfoil hat time.
Okay, let's hear it. What did I spark?
This was an inside job too.
Okay.
Right? Listen here. Maybe there were some conversations that he had with Jeremiah privately, because guess what? Ace did not influence us to vote for her. Huda influenced us to vote for her. Also, Jeremiah influenced us to vote for them, to break them up based on how he was representing the relationship. We saw in the first 3 days how happy he was being in a relationship, and then we saw later on he was like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He over there trying to poison her with like the uncut pancakes.
Yeah.
So now Jeremiah is kind of giving us a signal without waving at the camera to basically free him, because she won't free me. Yeah. Right? And now the guys are having conversations like, hey, on the outside, how do you think it's going to be when, she's getting mad at these challenges? She know it's a game, but yet she's getting mad. She's doing this, she's doing that. How do you think it's going to be on the outside? And his answers wasn't secure enough.
Exactly.
His answers wasn't good enough to make them feel like he really wants to be in a relationship. So really, Nick is really looking out for Jeremiah, saying, hey, you don't want to break up with her? We can free you. It's an inside job. You won't have no blood on your hands. We would take the blood off your hands and put it on ourselves, because Jeremiah, based off the conversations that we had as bros, you don't want to be a stepdad. You don't want no long distance relationship. You don't want to be with her.
Everything you're saying is pointing the opposite way, but you're over here talking about, but we good.
Exactly.
How does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. Tinfoil hat theory, right? That's why I'm like, all this stuff is an inside job. Now, Ace versus Jeremiah, that is going to be cinema. Now we're going to really see how Jeremiah felt about the relationship. We're going to see what Jeremiah does while he's in a relationship with Iris. A lot of people believe that Jeremiah just going to sleep outside in the day beds with Huda. I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. At the end of the day, Huda is to blame for where Huda is right now. America did not choose her. At first, we did. And when I say we, not me, I'm talking about the ones who voted. But the minute she started going, y'all need some real men. But the whole time you've been complaining about your real man this whole time. Here's the thing. No one likes when you throw your relationship in their face. Every time she spoke highly or the highest of her relationship with Jeremiah, everybody cut an eye at it.
Yeah.
Literally, even Hannah, and she was a bombshell at the time.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, everybody, see, that's also a comparison, because everybody is looking at Nick at one point saying, well, Nick, you only been focused on one girl basically this whole time. And so how are you any different than what Jeremiah and Huda's doing? Well, here's the thing about it. Nick and Sierra are not campaigning for votes.
Yeah.
They are not in the camera saying, we are mom and dad of the villa. They are not in the camera saying, we are the couple of the villa. They are not in the camera basically trying to sell us on some, when we get out of here.
And Nick is still exploring.
Exactly. No, Nick just likes. Right? Nick just likes. Right? Yeah. And Sierra, and truth be told, the more I see Sierra talking, the more I see her, I'm starting to like Sierra a little bit more as well. But Nick just likes that. I really want Nick and Alandria together, but that's a whole different video. Yeah. But my whole thing about it is what Nick and Sierra doing as basically him only focusing on Sierra is not the same as Huda and Jeremiah, because Huda and Jeremiah are basically telling us, without telling us, pick us as the winners for the season, because we're mom and dad of the villa, we're the best couple, we're the longest, but yet we're all these things and we're not closed off. Mm-hmm. So it's not real.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all enjoyed tonight's episode, okay? Anything else, Blair?
That's all I got.
We see y'all later on tonight with the review of episode 13.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.